Hey everyone, it's Dr. Tamar Andrews here, Dr. T, and another one of my Let's Change the World moments. So, the question today is, are you making yourself or the people around you dumber? And first, a little bit of theory. So, if you look at my little diagram here, you will see that when a baby is still in utero, 35 weeks gestation, see all these dots? Those dots are all brain cells. And the lines between them are some of the formations of neurons starting to wire together, fire and wire together. And you'll notice that as the child is born, this is a newborn, and then at 3 months, and then wow, look at that at 6 months. Oh my God, so many neuronal connections. And then at 2 years old, it's like this mesh, this huge maze of just all these different neuronal connections. Did you know that you are born with 100 billion brain cells? Each one of those brain cells has the capacity to make anywhere from 0 to 12 or 15,000 different connections. Each brain cell. Now you'll notice here at 2 years old, it's this whole mush of brain cells being wired and connecting with one another. But then as you get older, at 4 years old, and again at 6 years old, and if I were to show you one of a child even older, a 16-year-old, it would be even less dense. And the reason for that is because for whatever brain cells you don't use, your brain goes through something called synaptic pruning. Yes, pruning, just like on a tree. And what happens is that any of those brain cells that your brain thinks I'm not going to use, I'm just going to throw away. And you know what? You can't get them back. It's one of those things that once it's gone, use it or lose it, right? Have you heard that expression? And so how are we doing this to ourselves? So first of all, I've got a little list here. When you go to a restaurant and you look at the menu, have you been to that restaurant before? Have you seen that menu before? You read every different dish offered, but do you order the same thing that you ordered last time? If you are firing on the same brain cells as you did last time you were there, getting rid of any of those chicken curry or that vegetable marsala that you could have saved the brain cells for, but instead you ordered the same thing you did last time, chicken nuggets and french fries, and those are the only brain cells you have left and the only foods you are actually going to enjoy eating. Also with food, when you run out of different ingredients in your house, do you simply go to the supermarket and buy the same things to replenish those things you've used? Or do you say to yourself, I'm going to remember what Dr. T said. I'm going to go try something new. Fire on some of those new brain cells. What about music? Do you have your car stereo stations already preset and you push the buttons to those 3 or 4 stations until you find a song you already know? Are they all the same top 40 that you know the words to already? Great! You fired on those brain cells. But are you firing on the brain cells for classical music, country music, something else? No, you might not love it. Nobody loves something that causes change. In fact, change is the hardest thing for a human being to do, but it's important because every time we change, you got it, we are firing on new brain cells. Do you hang out with the same people and have the same conversations over and over? When you drive to work, coming to school, do you take the same routes over and over so that you don't even really remember getting there because it was so automated already? But if there's a roadblock or an accident, you can actually feel your brain having to think, firing on new brain cells because I've got to figure out a way now to get to work. That's not the same way I've been going every day. What about activities? Do you do the same thing every weekend? Go to the same mall, go to the same stores, go to the same movie house? Mix it up a little bit. Even at the gym, change your activities. Change your exercise routine. Pick up those dumbbells. Go for a swim. Go for a jog. Do something else. How about clothing? Do you shop at the same clothing stores and buy the same styles just in a few different colors? Do you always wear the same colors? Mix it up. Because not only will you be mixing it up for yourself, but people who look at you will also get smarter because they're going to fire on new brain cells because they're seeing you in something different. What else can you change? about your day-to-day life that will fire on new brain cells. And so what you're looking for is two things that actually seem contradictory but are really important. I call them the 3 C's of getting smarter. You've got to change it up. I know change is hard, but you got to change it up to fire on new brain cells. At the same time, you've also got to have some consistency so that you keep firing on those brain cells over and over so that you maintain them, because if you only fire on it once, you can't trick a smart brain, can you? If you only fire on it once, your brain is going to go, it was a one-trick pony, I don't need it, we're going to throw those brain cells away. So not only do you have to fire on new brain cells, but you also have to fire on the same ones to make sure that they're really getting strongly attached to the other brain cells and forming those neuronal connections that'll make sure you retain those brain cells. And how do you do that? I say by having consideration. Anytime you actively think and consider the things you're doing, you are going to do something that I like to say moving from chemical memory to structural memory. Right now I'm talking, there's just some chemicals flying around in your brain as those synapses are firing, but the truth is, if you don't think about this and consider it throughout the day, those chemicals are going to dissipate, and so is any memory or recollection of what I've just told you. Instead, you want to go for structural memory, when those chemicals fire so much on those brain cells that there's something that happens in your brain that actually creates a long-term memory. That is structural memory. Your brain is forever changed as a result of having had some consideration of what it was that you were thinking of doing and making those changes in your life. And you know what? Oh, what a world it could be. This is Dr. T. Until next time.